you. Today we are answering a question from Kate. She wants to know how she can release entity attachments. Now, some of you might not have heard about this. We understand it to be where someone feels they have been latched onto by another spirit or being or entity. And it does not mean a ghost necessarily. There are many beings from many planets and many dimensions that this can happen with. Rachel made a video very helpful to this subject, where she was speaking about the difference between the truth of different vibrational perspectives. So we understand that this can be a very stressful thing that is happening to many people. But from our view, the way to release yourself, not just from this phenomena, but of all that goes with it, all of the lack of freedom, the feeling of being disempowered, the feeling that something can happen to you like this, all of that is left behind when you start aligning more with your non-physical self, right? If you want to move up the chain, right? Who does a wild animal pick on? The weak one of the bunch, right? You want to fortify yourself with energy that is impermeable, with energy that is stronger, with energy that is so thick in love that nothing can attack it. So you want to raise your vibration, and all of that will fall away. All of it. So that is our suggestion to you. We hope you love it. Let us know if you have more questions. Goodbye for now. Hey, Rachel here. I wanted to respond to Kate's question personally because I do have a lot of experience in seeing people have attachments. And so I wanted to explain more about what that's like in case you aren't familiar. Back in my late teens and early 20s, I was in a different place in my life, and I used to see more of the negative stuff than I do now. And I remember being in Montreal and having met someone there who was a furrier. They worked in a fur factory, with animals and stuff. And before I even knew any of that, what I saw was that he had this big black thing attached to him. And I was like, whoa, what is that? And then my friend who I was with ended up dating that guy and told me what he did. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's not that the job itself necessarily gave him this because it's a gross job, but it just gave me the sense that maybe he was not loving what he was doing. Maybe he was in resistance to his life circumstances. And that's what opened up the availability for him to have that kind of thing. So it's not that I saw some kind of alien stuck onto the guy. It was just an energetic kind of blob that I knew was following him around. The other time I saw, I've seen this a lot, but one other time that I really clearly remember is when I was living with my dad and my sister and my then husband in this house, and my sister had brought home her boyfriend from college, and he was walking through the living room and I was up on the loft looking down, and I saw this little creature following him, and it looked kind of like a Wolverine or something, but I didn't even know what a Wolverine was. It was just kind of this creepy, crawly little animal, and it didn't feel good to me, and he didn't feel good to me either. And so I just have seen a lot of instances where things are attached to people. But the thing is, you can't stay where you are vibrationally and deal with that thing, because you're not really correcting the underlying issue of why it's available to you in the first place. So like I say in all my videos, I know this is so redundant, but you really need to change where you live vibrationally in order to get rid of the possibility of that happening. So how do you do that? you really need to allow yourself to become aware of where you are and realize, okay, if these things are happening to me, I can guess that I am focusing more in the negative than I want to. Maybe I'm not aware of it, but maybe I'm more worried or more stressed than I think I am. Maybe I'm focusing on negative things, and by that I mean things that make me feel bad. Negative is very subjective, right? Somebody could watch a really violent movie and feel fine about it and feel excited about it, but if I did, I know it would put me in a bad feeling place. So to me it would be negative, to someone else it wouldn't be. So ask yourself, how am I feeling when I'm going about my day? Am I feeling negative? Am I cynical? Am I feeling down? Am I talking bad about myself or other people? Am I noticing things I don't like? All of that can contribute to your openness to those kinds of things. And the best way to get out of it is just to become more aware of where you actually are and to let the awareness build. Don't worry about changing it. You really can't change it right on the spot because you have that momentum going. But if you be gentle with yourself, notice where you are. Notice like, oh, hey, I am kind of watching these shows that don't really make me feel good, or I'm around people all day that I don't like. So there's that, whatever it is for you. And then deal with it later. Learn to calibrate your thoughts. Learn to replace not good situations or activities with things that feel better. It's a slow process at first because it begins with no action. It begins with just awareness, but it really does help. It's really the only thing that can help because you need to elevate where you're living. I've drew some little diagrams for you. They're pretty terrible, but this is where that negative stuff lives, right? It lives when you're worried and doubtful. It lives in these belief systems that open the availability for that stuff to come in. But if you live up here and happy and excited or satisfied, that's the attachment stuff does not live here. It can't. It doesn't have the key to that world. And so it's really about moving up through neutrality up into this area. It's not possible for that stuff to get you. And of course, no one lives in positivity all the time. I certainly don't. And my buttons are still pushed once in a while, and my baggage is still exposed. But for the most part, I've gotten to a place where I'm not predominantly worried or focused on the negative. And that makes a huge difference. Normally, most of us are here. Like if you're watching this, you're not in that really completely negative place, more than likely. You're here. You're a little here, but you're mostly here. You're struggling. You're thinking things are hard. You're like in the trudge of life, probably for the most part. To go up here, it does take some effort because it takes noticing when you're making things hard, when you're focused on the negative, when you're worried, when the stress is there. And even if it's just a subtle underlying layer, it's still going to pull you down here and make the bad things available to you. It's like you're vulnerable here because you feel like you're not in control of everything. But really, when you start to align to the happy, the excited, the inspired, the I'm a creator, I'm a non-physical being, I'm the one who is allowing things into my reality, then the bad stuff is so far away from you, it doesn't even have a chance to get at you. You don't move to any one region permanently though. And so any kind of like look back into drama or negativity or conspiracy theories or like even just looking at what the world is doing can open you up to moving back down again, even temporarily. It happens to me all the time. I have like this soft spot sometimes for YouTube drama, and as much as I don't care, sometimes I'll watch a video about, you know, what's happening, and right away I notice my reality changing. I notice things that I wouldn't want to see happening. The more aware you are of that you create everything, the easier it is to change, because you're like, oh wait, I don't like what's happening right now. how did I cause that? I can change it. And I wouldn't even go into the how did I cause it for more than a second, because that's still activating more and will cause more to come into your reality. So really it's, how can I feel better in this moment? How can I feel better in this moment? How can I feel better in this moment? Relax, be gentle with yourself, and know that the move up can seem slow at first, but it just takes you retraining the momentum, like getting into the momentum of the good, and then things get a lot easier. So hope that helps. Super love. And if you have any more questions like this, I'm super happy to answer them. So talk to you soon. Bye.